Happy Halloween, everyone! It's time again for my favorite holiday and all that comes with it. Whether you dress up and go out to party or stay in with a good scary movie or game, however you celebrate, I hope it's a wonderful time. Personally, I've dressed up every year since I could, and one of my favorite activities is playing scary games. So today, as our Halloween special, I am so very excited to share with you one of my absolute favorite games of all time, Resident Evil 7. In this video, I'm going to be covering everything I love about this game, including the story, some personal experiences, and, just overall absolutely glazing this game to all hell. So if you aren't here for that, then, go somewhere else. This is a fun video. Have fun. Go sit down, get some candy, and, have some fun. God, I'm an asshole. This game came out in 2017, and has stayed my second favorite game since I've played it. I have 100%ed it. I have hundreds of hours on it, and I know the game like the back of my hand. And honestly, not to toot my own horn or anything, I could probably beat it in about 2 hours if I really tried. I adore this silly game and all of its dumb, scary, and badass moments, and I am dying to talk about it. I've never been good with intros, so let's just get started with Resident Evil 7. Our journey begins with a woman named Mia sending a nice update message to her husband Ethan. Psst, that's you. It's a nice opening that takes a bit of a darker turn as it's followed by a live recording of her saying some pretty foreboding things.
All I can say is that if you get this, stay away.
We then cut to Ethan calling a friend who's never heard from again, by the way, saying that he's been contacted by Mia and she wants him to come get her. Not suspicious at all since she's only been dead 3 years! But, if I'm about to choose a smart story between a fun story, I'll choose fun every day. We march through the Louisiana swamplands before finding the old farmhouse. And right away, I think we should probably talk about the inspirations behind this game. And the state of the franchise in this time period. You see, the last mainline entry of the RA franchise was Resident Evil 6, which, yeah, it wasn't good. The series needed to get back to its roots, and in a smaller scale, to be much scarier. So, once the project was greenlit, the developers looked to American horror movies as inspiration. Namely, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Saw, and of course my favorite horror movie franchise, The Evil Dead. You can clearly see the inspirations throughout the game, and especially in the first few hours. Upon entering the farmhouse, the door shuts behind us, and we are locked in this dilapidated, decaying building with nothing but a light to guide us. The ambience and the tension is very thick, able to be cut with a knife. Wherever Mia is, we should probably find her and get the hell out of here. Upon climbing the old crumbling stairs to what seemed like the entrance to an attic, we find a tape recorder, which are used to save the game, and even more importantly, a VHS tape. Luckily, the creepy room downstairs is a VHS player. You'd be wise not to play this. I mean, the last time I watched a tape in a horror game, it didn't end well. I haven't emotionally recovered. But Ethan hasn't played Silent Hill 2, so, he starts the tape. Upon playing the tape, we are met with 3 dead guys. I mean dead guys. Why can't I say alive? Anyway, the 3 men are Clancy, Peter, and Andre. They apparently work for a TV network where they are ghost hunters. They are investigating the Dulvey murder house or some shit. I don't know. They are so dead. It all goes downhill from here when Andre disappears. Pete and Clancy search around before finding a lever in the chimney that opens a small hatch in the wall, which of course leads to a ladder. Reluctantly, we climb down and find Andre. Yeesh, that was brutal. Well, at least we know where to go now. We head down to the basement, where we eat shit along the way. Damn it. After trudging through what legally cannot be classified as water and finding Andre's body, we find our darling Mia in a cell. Luckily, there's bolt cutters around to get her out. However, she seems very, off. Her paranoia is more than enough reason to get the hell out of here. Ethan tries his best to get some answers from her to no avail. Eventually, though, we make it to a room with no escape. We look for a way out when...
No, leave me alone!
Jesus, what is going on? We climb the stairs to find no Mia, and only after we enter the bathroom do we hear these banging on the door. Mia's acting as if she was possessed by the Kandarian demon, and we get a first-hand display. She's screaming and acting violent and mutilating Ethan's poor hands! She only stops after she bangs her own head against the wall, screaming about her? We splash some goop juice on her hands to heal up before she gets right the hell back up, thrusting us into our first taste of the combat. The combat in this game is honestly quite charmingly simple. Firearms work the same as an FPS game control-wise, and you have a pretty wide range of guns to choose from. 2 different shotguns, 3 different handguns, a flamethrower and a grenade launcher, and even a submachine gun. So you absolutely have all kinds of choices. Melee weapons work by using the right trigger for a light attack and using the left trigger and right trigger at the same time for a slow heavy attack. The bumper is for a new feature to the RE series, which is blocking, allowing you to absorb some damage, whilst the right bumper is an instant healing using the first aid meds that you can craft and find. That's right, crafting is another big part of this game, and honestly, the only way to get some really good items and ammo is the crafting mechanic. Everything from enhanced handgun ammo and full-on grenade launcher rounds. Since this game is going back to the roots of survival horror, another big thing is item management. You see, you get 4 weapon slots, and since one should always be a melee weapon, you only really actually get 3. While the item management is a good challenge if you are completely new to survival horror, if you've played even one other survival horror game, the management is never really a huge problem. I've never really had a moment where I needed to grab an item but had no space, so I had to go back to the box. The gameplay is pretty simple, and I honestly love it. It's a small-scale game, and it's nice to see the gameplay reflect that. However, back to the story, Ethan plunges the axe into his dearly beloved, showing a small sign of regret before the phone rings. A mysterious woman, who reveals herself to be Zoe, tells us to head to the attic for a way out. But once again, Mia stops us before we can. It shows us the most shocking scene in this game.
Now, let's see what you feel.
Holy hell! That's fucking brutal! She seems to disappear once again, and we take our chance to get the hell to the attic. But she's, again, not done with us. So we get our first boss fight. Well, mini-boss fight. It's not too hard. To be honest, she's pretty slow, so as long as you hit your headshots and keep your distance, you can pretty much get through it in a minute or so. After we, quote-unquote, kill Mia, we are stuck in the attic right before the most iconic line in the game.
Welcome to the family, son.
And thus, the game truly begins. The dinner scene is probably the most iconic thing from this game, as it was all over the marketing, and in every YouTube thumbnail ever. The scene is wonderful. You meet the entire family in this little moment. Jack, Marguerite, and Lucas Baker. The absolute worst family to have dinner with. Ever. After a bit of face mutilation, though, we are left to ourselves in this room. Well, and Granny, but she's a sweetheart and keeps my secrets. That secret being skipping on dinner. The goal is to get this key to the hatch in the back room. However, Jack is not going to make it very easy for us. At all. He's on the hunt for us. You see, in Resident Evil games, there's always, for the most part, a stalker enemy that follows you throughout the environment. Mr. X, Nemesis, and now Jack Baker. These guys cannot be killed in normal combat, making them very intimidating, and Jack is no different. Like I said earlier, this game is based off American horror movies, and Jack is your slasher. He walks towards you relentlessly like Jason or Michael Myers, yet he cracks dark jokes like Freddy Krueger. Each of the main villains in this game have a genre of horror behind their design and their whole gimmick, but we will get to that when we get to it. Once we get to the hatch with the possible loss of another ligament, Jack gives us some breathing room, where we get to my favorite part in any Resident Evil game, the save room. The save room is a room where you are safe. Who would have guessed? In here is the way to save the game, which in my opinion, manual saving should be a part of every horror game, or at least most of them. And an item box to store what you can't carry. However, the star is absolutely the music tracks. 7's track is so haunting yet relaxing and comforting. The best save room track is the kind that makes you feel safe, yet reminds you still have to go out there sooner or later. While you only hear this track in the second save room you find, it's still so memorable and for sure my favorite save room track in any RE game. Yes, I only wanted to talk about the music, bite me. Anyway, as you go to leave the room, Zoe calls you again, telling you to get out of the house. As if I wasn't trying! But the way out is through these locked metal doors that require something we obviously do not have. So we kind of just walk around doing nothing until a police officer knocks on the window. Ethan begs for help, but you know, it's a police officer, so not much help it's going to be getting. But we do get a pocket knife, which we then use to open the garage door to meet up with the cop. But, you know, he's a side character in a horror game, so, yeah. But hey, the garage fight's fun. The goal is to grab the car key and just run Jack down, which is pretty easy. You'll be just fine if you just beeline it for the key, as he's going ham on that poor deputy's body. God damn. However, once you do, he will get on top of the car and try and run you into debris and kill you. Miraculously, we survive. However, Jack doesn't. At least he thinks so, until he catches on fire and still comes after you. The car then explodes, knocking him down. And surely he's dead now, right? Oh, come on, dude! Would you just... Fuck! Oh. Well. That's one way to do it. We finally get the item we need that opens the steel door, and the main house opens up to us. We get another call from Zoe, who confirms that she is the daughter of this crazy family, which, you know, yeah, I guess so. But she just restates that we need to get out of the house, which, yeah, I know. But our goal is to open this front door, which should be unlocked with what seems like dog heads. There are 3 of them, and the first 2 are pretty easily found. One being in a book, and the other in a clock that you can fix, with a part that you need to find in the main room. I don't want this video to just be a strategy guide to use in order to beat the game, so I'm not going to cover every detail you can find and every scrap of side content in the game. I am only covering the main story, if you will. Exploring the house, we find a bathroom with some inky black sewer water in the bathtub. Upon draining it, we find the wooden statue of sorts. Pretty abstract. However, it could very possibly be the solution to the light puzzle in the main house. So let's just head down there and... Oh, come on! Yeah, so he's alive. But I bet if I just run down here, that I'd be stuck up there. And then I can... Fuck! Okay, yeah. This is the part where Jack's going to be pursuing you, which makes doing this puzzle very difficult. However, eventually I made it through into a sort of second living room. Jesus. How loaded are these people? Anyway, continuing, we find a room filled with more of this inky black moldy substance, all before a creature climbs from it. These are the molded. There are 4 types of molded: the base kind, the shielded, the crawlers, and the fat ones. The basic types are, well, exactly that. They shamble towards you, swipe at you, and have a lunge attack. But, just like all classic RE monsters, they are super fucking tanky and do some pretty big damage numbers. The shielded are exactly the same, but one of their arms is this massive shield that they hold up to absorb damage. The crawlers are 4-legged molded that zip around and leap at you. On higher difficulties, these guys are a fucking nightmare. The fat ones are pretty huge and vomit acidic bile at you while they eat up all your shotgun shells and grenade launcher rounds as well. The molded are very repetitive in this game, to the point where they very quickly stop being scary and start being annoying. They're used very often, and it's pretty obvious it's just to keep you from getting too much ammo for the boss fights. Speaking of boss fights, though, exploring the basement to the house leads us to finding the dissection room key. After fighting our way through some molded adversaries, we finally find the last dog head. But of course, there's a problem.
I was gonna be your father. Now she says he will be her father. No. I will find him, and I will make him suffer. And you, my friend, will help me.
Great. Now it's gonna be a big thing and barely possible to get the damn thing, and... Oh. I guess that was easy. Oh, motherfucker! This is the first boss fight with Jack in the game. It's set in this arena filled with hanging bodies that you can kick to knock Jack over. The main goal is to unload on him until he drops down and exposes his gross exterior. After the first time he does this, he'll drop his current weapon and go for this awful looking machinery. Don't worry, we ourselves get to have a chainsaw. Groovy. After a bit of swiping with the chainsaw, you eventually shove it into Jack's face. Who's laughing now, Jack? Finally, we are rid of this motherfucker! So, we use the chainsaw on the barred door, and using the 3 dog heads, escape from the house. The little moments of levity you get in this game are really nice. I've always loved how the game looks as you open the door to the outside for the first time. But the nightmare is yet to be over. As we enter the trailer that belongs to Zoe, we get a call telling us that there's hope, which is crazy in this scenario, but you know. Not only is there a serum that can cure Mia of whatever's wrong with her, but the recipe is actually in the old house. However, there's always a catch. And the catch this time is that that's Marguerite's turf. I'm just going to warn you now, if you don't like bugs, skip to this time code to get to the next area of the game, because this may get a little rough on you. If you thought the first house of the game was falling apart, wait till you get to this house. There's an entire bit of the floor that's just collapsed. If you watch the Mia tape from earlier that you find in the main house, it gave you a bit of a sneak peek of the place. So, you know a little bit of what to expect. But one thing it didn't show us was the fucking hives of bugs everywhere. Yeah, this sucks. We need to find the stone statue, and that goes to the second light puzzle. Usually I run to make the flamethrower first, just to get rid of the hives before Mama Baker shows up just to ruin your day. Which helps, seeing as the statue is behind one of these hives. Upon grabbing it, though, we meet Mia again, who Ethan tries to immediately press for answers. But of course, Lucas shows up to ruin that by kidnapping Mia. And then, as we try to go for the light puzzle, Marguerite shows up. God, it can never be easy! Avoiding her and getting to the puzzle, we shimmy through the walls with, ew, no, 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 I don't even mind bugs that much, but ew, that's awful, fuck! Yeah, that sucked. Upon crossing to the other side, we find a locked door, and we need the crow key. Obviously, we won't find it in the main house, so with some exploring and the help from a crank, we finally find it. But whatever is in that room, Mama Baker does not want us to get. So, she throws us through the floor and starts a mini boss fight. It's not really a mini boss fight, to be honest. Just shoot her till she falls in with you and then climb the ladder. And believe it or not, as soon as you enter the crow room, you immediately find the recipe. It calls for a head and an arm. Luckily, though, Zoe has the head, and her mom should have the arm somewhere. Probably through this door that requires a lantern that she was holding, but no problem. We'll just wander over and, oh, good God, that's horrifying. Well, guess it's time for another boss fight already, this time set in the old greenhouse. Already you're on edge due to whatever the hell you just saw. Even access to the grenade launcher isn't really enough to stop that, but hey, maybe it'll be okay. All we gotta do is we just gotta go up these stairs. Oh, good God! Let go, you freak! Easily, this is the best boss fight in the game. Marguerite climbs on the walls and ceiling, hiding in holes and corners, ready to pounce on you. I am obsessed with the feeling of whipping around, searching desperately for her. If this one boss fight was the basis for every alien encounter in Colonial Marines, it'd be a much better game. But the worst part of the fight is that you can hear her give birth to more fucking hives everywhere and catch her mid-process and stop her. That's not something I thought I'd ever say. It's very clear, or at least should be at this point, that her horror genre is body horror. And I think it's awesome. I mean, look at her fucking design, dude. Ugh, it's so gross. After pumping what could only be described as God's mistake full of lead, we finally put this monster down, and Ethan says what we are all thinking.
Just fucking stay dead, okay?
Damn straight. Well, we got what we need. Let's just head back. Well, Jesus, this isn't much better. There's mold everywhere. I guess there's a ghost, too.
Stay away.
Fuck you! I've gotten this far. You're gonna have to force me out. We find the arm of what seems like a shriveled up corpse of a little girl, and, well, something tells me that that's related. And whoever this is sends a bunch of molded guys at me. Oh, come on, you can do better than that. It's not a problem if you have shotgun shells left over from the spider monkey fight back there. Yeah, that's right, you bastards. I got the power of gunpowder on my side. After getting the hell out of there, Zoe hits you up and says to meet her with the arm in the trailer. But come on, did you really think it was going to be that easy? No, no. We get there, and she's nowhere to be found. So, of course, we get a call from good old Lucas, everyone's favorite. Yeah, fuck this guy. He says that he has Mia and Zoe together. If I want the head, I need to go through some sort of activity, or whatever that means. But honest to God, this is the end of the Marguerite section. It's very short. It's the shortest section in this entire game, actually. But what follows is my favorite section of the game, actually. So the Lucas section of the game is a pretty short section, but like I said just a second ago, it's still my favorite. The Saw inspirations clearly shine through with the traps and the mean-spirited puzzles everywhere. Like, your first trial being putting your hand down this cop's throat. You know, I don't feel good about this at all, and I hate cops. This is disgusting. Ugh. Through some general combat and key hunting, and even some lore about Lucas being dropped in his room, spoiler alert, he was always a monster, we finally get to this, I don't know, side building? This place fucking confuses me, man. We come across a locked door with a keypad. Obviously, we need the code to progress, and we don't know where that is. The process of getting it is pretty easy, though. You basically just keep going straight, and after a mini-boss with your first fat molded, you'll get the code and have to do the happy birthday puzzle. If you watched the tape found in Lucas's room before this, then you know exactly what not to do and how to beat the puzzle. Put in loser in the lock, grab the wheel, turn off the sprinklers, and that way you can light the cake. And then stand in front of it, knowing it's about to blow up. Well, either way, Lucas tries to throw another bomb at us, but with some quick thinking, Ethan throws it into the wall and blows a hole in it, giving us our escape. It's a pretty quick section, to be honest, but I like how different it is from the rest of the game. Instead of a straightforward boss rush, it mixes things up with disgusting imagery and a classic key hunt, made famous by the very first Resident Evil game. I really like how you can't just shoot the problem this time around, you know? Either way, we retrieve the head and fight our way to the dock, where finally we are reunited with Mia and meet Zoe for the very first time. She creates the serum, but the meeting is cut short by Jack? In what can only be described as pure Resident Evil, Jack has grown into a big mass of mold with the staple of glowing eyes to destroy, and he is pissed. He throws you into the boss arena and the fight is on. The fight is separated by 2 levels. Jack doesn't really do much. He basically just winds up a big attack, letting you know that you have more than enough time to block or evade. And following the basic design of every combat counter, the goal is simple. Shoot the fucked up looking eyes! After destroying all of them, Jack collapses and Zoe runs in to help you. But can you guess what happens? Here, I'll let you say it. Jack grabs us and tries to kill us. God damn it! Zoe says to use the serum to stop him. Ethan has, you know, some questions about that, but there's no time. Here's your Geritol, Gramps!
Are you alright?
Serum works, but there's only one left, and you were given a choice. Do you cure Mia, who's your wife and your entire reason to be here? Or do you cure Zoe, who, yeah, cure Mia. In the 200 hours that I have played this game, I have cured Zoe once, because it is clearly the wrong choice. But don't worry about her. There's an entire DLC that exists to save her. She'll be fine. We finally get a moment to ask Mia for the answers, who swears she doesn't know anything. But of course, before we have a chance to discuss, we are fucking interrupted again. God damn it!
Oh, you're okay. What the hell was that? What the fuck? What is that? What is that?
We awaken as Mia, next to the giant boat. Ethan gets taken away by that giant mass of mold, and while we move through the boat, we get flashes of the past and see a little girl calling us mommy. We end up in a room where she waits for us in a chair, telling us to view one last tape, so that we can be a family. Upon viewing the tape, we are met with the answers we need. The girl is Evelyn, and she's behind all of this, as she's a lab project gone wrong, made from something called the metamycete, and all she wants is a family, or whatever twisted, fucked up version of a family she seemed to have created. The tape ends with the boat being destroyed. So, to recap, not only is Mia a sort of secret agent / scientist, but the entire hell that is the previous night is the result of a little girl infecting the bakers and making them all fucked up and scary. So of course, when Evelyn asks Mia if she can be a family with her, Mia says hell no, and rushes to go find Ethan. Eventually, after a bunch of fucking around, you get to the sub-level, and you finally find him. We swap back over to his POV as we are met with a vision of Jack, basically catching him up with everything we just learned. Mia rips us out of the mold and pushes us out of the room as Evie takes over her body once again. But before she lets go, she gives us one objective. Find Evelyn and take her out. You might be wondering why this section was so short. Well, that's because it is such a goddamn drag. Not to say it's like terrible or anything, it's just whenever you have played this game dozens of times as I have, it's awful because not a lot of story stuff actually happens whenever you get out of the tape. It's basically, you get stripped of all your equipment and it becomes dead space for a moment because you're scrambling to find these items to fix an elevator, all without any weapons. Unless you go and find some. Definitely don't let it keep you from playing this game. It's only bad for me because I've played this game dozens of times. Anyways, the next section makes up for the last section because it's just actually a lot of fun. As we enter the last area of the game, that being the salt mines, we immediately notice that the game starts giving you a lot of ammo for your journey. And that's because it's an all-out fight to get to Evelyn. She's spawning molded left and right, desperately trying to keep you away. And I'll hand it to her, it got a little tense there. Especially when she spawned 2 fat molded to fight you. But, you know, we prevail because we're the main character. And where we end up is the old house? We see flashes of the past with Mia trying to kill us, but we keep pushing, showing Evelyn we aren't playing around anymore. She tries her absolute best, shoving us back forcefully at one point, but we catch up to her and it's revealed that Evelyn was the grandma? But you kept my secrets! Unless you were trying to get me to join your family. Well, guess what? It didn't work. And oh, Jesus God, she's actually melting. What the fuck? Oh, what the fuck? She transforms into what can only be described as her true form, with a big, huge face and moldy tendrils. Evie, you got real ugly. We fire at her, but it seems as no use as she destroys the house, sending us plummeting to the ground. We awaken in early morning to see her growing massive, hellbent on killing us. But we keep firing, and it's almost like nothing faces her. Until a mysterious person drops a care package and tells us to use it. Well, I'm not one to turn down a gun. Yo, she bitch! Let's go. Finally, the nightmare is over, and we are saved by none other than series regular Chris Redfield. We reunite with Mia once more, and as the game closes, Ethan has a small monologue.
They say that when one door closes, another opens. Well, a door closed tonight. And what a long night it was. But not just for me. Mia and I weren't the only victims here. So were the Bakers. It was that thing, Evelyn, who made them that way. But now Evelyn's dead. And these guys are here to clean up the mess. I had just come to terms with losing Mia. But now she's back and wants to start over. Put all this behind us. Maybe this is where the next door opens.
Man, I love this game. It's so unique, even in its own franchise. It sticks out as being something different. In terms of horror games, this was my first love. My first horror game I played all the way through. It's been such a pillar in my life, and knowing that it shares DNA with some of my favorite horror movies, God, it's good. I adore how goofy and scary and just fun it is. And if I got nothing to do one afternoon, I regularly boot this game up. I've gotten every trophy and beaten every DLC. Even Ethan Must Die. It took me like a year or two, but I got that, damn it. I think especially recently, people kind of overlooked this game since RE8, and especially since RE4 Remake came out. But we wouldn't have any of the amazing games in this franchise that we've gotten recently without this masterpiece. So yeah, I love it. If you're looking for a game to play this Halloween that you haven't played, please give it a try. There's even a free demo for it, and that was my introduction to it. It was actually kind of scary because it appeared in the demo section of the PS4 Marketplace, and I played it not knowing what to expect. And much like the vibe of the game with the found footage aesthetic, it was like a snuff tape that I just stumbled upon. Well, that's exaggeration, but my point still stands. There's stuff I didn't cover, like the Madhouse difficulty, which is my favorite way to play the game, where it's hard as hell and rearranges encounters and items, but even its many DLC. But as this video does well, I will absolutely make a follow-up on it. I love talking about this game. During the winter, either this year or next January, I plan on covering the sequel, Resident Evil Village, which, funnily enough, is set in the snow. You'll see what I'm doing there, right? Like, it's pretty, yeah, you see it? You see it? Yeah, good. But, until then, I have another video coming out soon. I'm not sure on what it is yet, but you'll know as soon as I do. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video and my many Evil Dead references, and I cannot wait to show you what's next. This is Ripley, signing off.